Now that I've reviewed every single set from the 2025 LEGO Star Wars Summer Wave, I thought that it would be a pretty cool idea to rank them all and see what is the worst and overall best set from this wave. Of course, as usual with these ranking videos, this is only my opinion and your ranking could look vastly different. Because of this, I would be very interested to see your ranking of the Summer Wave, so feel free to let me know down in the comments below. But now, let's get started with spot number 9 and the overall worst set in my opinion, and this is set number 75431 327 Star Corps Clone Troopers Battle Pack. This set doesn't only have a long name, but also a very big price tag of roughly $45 and 40 euros for only 258 pieces and 7 minifigures. And while the minifigure count might sound like a lot, I have already compared the value to another battle pack released a year prior to this one, and suddenly it doesn't seem so good for the new one. The Clone Trooper and Battle Droid battle pack that released in 2024, so a year before, has 9 minifigures, so 2 minifigures or more accurately B1 battle droids more, and only 43 pieces less, but costs $15 less. And of course, while there is inflation, the 2025 battle pack seems to have suffered from an unreasonable price increase, and I feel like LEGO did this because they knew how long fans wanted 327th clones and a way to army build them, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Speaking of the 327th clones, I do actually like them a lot. I go over them in a more detailed way in my review, but in short form I like the overall look and I'm a fan of the new pauldron piece. However, I don't like that they didn't include physical waist capes and just printed a small part onto the legs that once again doesn't look good at all. You get 4 of these troopers total, which is a great number, and on the opposing side you get 3 super battle droids, which are always super cool to get. The builds in this battle pack are solid. You get a yellow walker, which is still too big, but it's kind of cool to play with. You get another dwarf spider droid, which I don't get why LEGO is so obsessed with this droid, and a small stud shooter cannon. So for a battle pack, the builds are solid and the figures are also pretty cool for the most part, but the price, and yeah, you're gonna hear this more throughout this video, just seems ridiculous to me, and that is the main reason why the set is so low on this list. In my opinion, it shouldn't have cost more than $30, and with such a price, the set would have made a way better spot on this list. But now, let's move on to the next spot. Spot number 8 is what most of you probably expected to be the last place, and of course I'm speaking of set number 75413 Republic Juggernaut. It includes 813 pieces, 8 minifigures, and retails for roughly $160 or 150 euros, which is an insane price. But positive things first, the silhouette for the Juggernaut is pretty much on point. While the set feels insanely small for the $160 that LEGO is charging, it still looks way better at such a small scale than you'd probably expect. However, this model has some stability issues, even though they're not as bad in my opinion as some make them look online. But yeah, it's still not the most sturdy build and also not the most logical selection for the set. There's 3 things that I don't really get. First of all, why didn't they price it cheaper? I mean, the price per piece ratio makes no sense at all. Secondly, why didn't they make a UT80 that probably would have looked way better with around 800 pieces than a Juggernaut? And thirdly, yeah, why do a Juggernaut at all with 800 pieces to work with? But let's ignore the build for a second. The figures are pretty cool. While they're missing some cloth waist capes, I love the Galactic Marines and I also like Bakara a lot. Ki-Adi-Mundi is a flawless and perfect minifigure and the 3 B1 battle droids are a nice throw-in. Overall, the Juggernaut is a solid yet very overpriced set with a lot of wasted potential. Spot number 7 is likely the cutest set on this list, and it's set number 75430 Wicket the Ewok. While this set feels once again pretty overpriced at about $130 and 120 euros for only 1010 pieces and 1 singular minifig, I do have to say I quite enjoyed this set. I feel like they nailed the look of Wicket pretty well, and even the face looks pretty solid in this build, which is pretty rare for LEGO Star Wars buildable character who isn't a droid. And I also love Wicket next to the buildable Chewbacca, and I think it's kind of an underrated set in this wave. In my opinion, only the price feels too much on this set, but yeah, that is kind of a theme going on in this wave. Spot number 6 made the weirdest yet most creative set from this wave. The Force-Burner Snowspeeder from Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past retails for roughly $55 and 50 euros, and comes with 349 pieces and 3 minifigures. While this set is once again too expensive, it has a pretty cool play feature with the speeder bike that gets attached to the Snowspeeder and can be dropped off and picked up super easily. The figures have amazing printing and are genuinely some of the best minifigs from the wave, and while I don't have any connection to them, I love their designs. I would also love to get a remake of this Snowspeeder in a normal colorway as soon as possible, as this build is designed super well. Very minimal gaps, super sturdy, and an awesome new windshield piece specifically created for the set makes it one of the best from this wave. In my opinion, it only really gets held back by its price and the show it's from, as and I guess many don't really care that much about the set because of the show it's based on. But otherwise, it's a fire set and it's not only super underrated but also super cool. On spot number 5 we have one of the most reasonable priced sets in this whole wave. Set number 75432 V19 Taurus Starfighter includes 567 pieces, 3 amazing minifigures and retails for about $65 and euros. As I already mentioned before, the minifigures are absolutely amazing in this set. First of all, you get this very cool look for Ventress, and the only thing that would have made this figure even better would have been the arm prints with the bandages. Then there's also Obi-Wan Kenobi with his early season Clone Wars look where certain Jedi wear some clone armor, and the printing is insane on this dude, and he even has arm printing on both sides with the Republic logos, which looks absolutely insane. He looks so freaking amazing, and it's probably the best Obi-Wan Kenobi that LEGO made yet. And the third minifigure is a screen-accurate Phase 1 clone pilot. LEGO finally removed the fin and made him look way better. While there are some minor design choices that are either inaccurate or that I don't really like, I still think it's a great minifigure and I've waited years for this character to happen. For the V19 Torrent you have a pretty solid build. Of course it's once again pretty downscaled, but at least it's very sturdy. While it doesn't look that great in the landed position and it is a bit chunky there, it really gives off a cool look when in flight mode. Overall it's a really solid set with some cool minifigures and amazing printing, and for once a kind of reasonable price, which is, yeah, pretty rare in this wave. Now let's move on to spot number 4, and with that this set closely misses the podium and it's set number 75433, Jango Fett Starship. This set retails for roughly $70 and euros and includes 707 pieces and 3 minifigures. Speaking of figures, the set has highlights and also lowlights. A highlight for sure is the brand new Lama Su. It's the second Kaminoan minifigure from LEGO, has amazing printing, a brand new headpiece, which looks stellar, and it is also another important character that finally got a minifigure. A lowlight, however, is the young Boba Fett with the horribly inaccurate hairpiece and also not the best torso and leg design. Dual molded legs would have been also a cool upgrade, but yeah, I don't really expect this in such a small set. Jango Fett is really cool, especially for those who waited since 2013 for another release. This is basically the same minifigure as in the UCS set, it's just missing the arm printing which makes both versions exclusive. The Slave One looks really awesome. Of course it's once again pretty downscaled and very small, but the building techniques form a really great looking build. It even comes with a transport cart that doubles as a display stand similar to the previous Boba Fett Slave One in the scale, and this is a very neat addition. Overall I really like this set, especially displayed with the kind of recent Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, and overall it's of course not as good as the UCS set, but for everyone who wants a small Jango Slave One, it's a really great model for both play and also display. Getting to spot number 3, we have a set with one of the coolest play features in any LEGO Star Wars set, and obviously I'm speaking of set number 75435, Battle of Felucia Separatist MTT. It comes around with 12 minifigs, 976 pieces, and retails for about $160 and 150 euros. While this set is sadly one of the pretty overpriced sets of this wave, it makes you forget that pretty fast with what it has to offer. It is the first MTT in the blue Separatist design that we commonly see in the Clone Wars TV show, and it's overall a really good looking MTT. It has this awesome printed nose piece, and while we're at it, you can unload the droids with one of the coolest play features ever. When turning a knob in the back of the vehicle, the front opens up and the droid rack comes out and drops down. You can even retract the droid rack to load them back into the MTT, and the front closes with this feature. It works so flawlessly, and this is so cool to do that I just can't not love this set. The figures are also pretty cool with an amazing Isla Secura, and the Blighter is a little inaccurate and once again has no physical waist cape, which is slightly disappointing. The Separatists get 6 B-1 battle droids, as it's a troop carrier, a pilot and 3 new gunmetal grey commander droids. While they look pretty badass, I prefer the old brown ones, which in my opinion feel more accurate to the source material. Overall, it's a great set that once again is way too overpriced, which is a bummer, but I just can't stop talking about that awesome play feature, which is why it made such a high placement on this list. It's definitely one of the greatest playsets of 2025, and it also looks very great on display. So yeah, the third place is very deserved. Spot number 2, and with that barely missing the first spot, is what many of you would probably consider a pretty boring set, and it's set number 75434 K2SO. It includes 845 pieces and 1 minifigure for roughly $90 and euros. Honestly, I have to admit that I also thought that this set isn't that interesting, but once I've built it I was really surprised. In my opinion it is one of the best buildable characters ever, and overall a super cool looking display model. You can get lots of great poses with this guy, and it almost feels like a LEGO version of a hot toy if you know these figures. You can move and rotate the arms, turn the body, turn the head, move the hand and fingers, and you can even display him without the stand, which looks pretty awesome. There are quite a lot of stickers which I am not a big fan of, but the awesome building techniques create some awesome shapes and make this lengthy droid look so good. Overall, a super underrated set that will look great on your Andor and Rogue One display. I paired the buildable K2SO with my U-Wing and I love the look of them together. But now, let's get to spot number 1, and with that the in my opinion best set from this year's LEGO Star Wars Summer Wave. I think it was almost to be expected, but it is set number 75417 UCS ATST. This set includes 1513 pieces and 1 minifigure, and it retails for roughly $200 and euros. Now this set looks so damn good besides 1 or 2 small nitpicks that I have, but let's start with the 1 minifigure that stands right next to the printed display plaque. The ATST driver is almost a perfect minifigure, but sadly just almost. It has arm printing and overall some pretty cool details throughout the whole figure, but sadly they didn't give him dual model legs, which I just cannot understand, as this would have made this minifigure flawless. But now, speaking of the AT-ST, LEGO was really able to nail the shaping of this chicken-like walker, and it looks phenomenal on display. While it is smaller than the previous UCS AT-ST, it is way more sturdy and has a way cleaner look. A lot more details, a lot less studs on the finished model, and great proportions. The interior is just as awesome with some cool details that are sadly also a bunch of stickers, but at least not only stickers, and the weapons are also designed really well and look almost one-on-one compared to concept arts and source material. Overall, I really have only 2 nitpicks with this model, and that is first of all the 10 pieces that they sprinkle throughout the build. In the instruction manual they explained that they should represent some dirt and wear and tear from the Forest of Endor, but yeah, in my opinion this doesn't really add anything to the model, and while I appreciate the thought process behind this, I think it actually more takes away from the model's overall look. And secondly, I think it is once again overpriced. While it is a big model, and yeah, it is pretty big, it doesn't feel like a $200 set. It's smaller than the old one, and in my opinion it really should have only cost about 160 to 170 bucks. But otherwise, I'm really happy about this set, and I love that we finally got a remake of the set. I was waiting a bunch of years for a remake, and yeah, now it's finally here. But now, that was my ranking of this year's LEGO Star Wars Summer Wave. Of course, as I already said, it is only my opinion, so feel free to let me know your ranking, or at least your top 3 in the comments down below. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts about my rank and also about the sets in general. I would highly appreciate a like if you enjoyed this video. If you're new, please consider subscribing and feel free to check out the set reviews to each of the sets I just ranked. And other than that, have a great day.